Alright, so I decided I want to do another photography blog, or vlog I guess, and I want to do this one sort of on site. So I'm here on one of my favorite places to shoot. This is South Congress Avenue in Austin, Texas, and lots of people, lots of shops, you know, lots of usually the street musicians, things like that. People are friendly. You know, came about an hour before sunset. The side of the street that's the most populated is in shade in the afternoon, and so it kind of extends the sort of the pleasant light if you come a little bit earlier. But we're here at just about the right time. See, we've got, you know, some clouds in the sky, so we don't just have blah nothing in the sky. So I'm gonna put my 50 millimeter on and take some pictures, and then if I'm feeling brave, I'll go to the 28, and if I'm feeling like doing something after that, maybe I'll put on the 85. But I feel like the 50 is my comfort zone, and haven't been down here in a while, and so I'm just gonna do what I know how to do and start with the 50. So I'll probably post like a follow-up after I'm done taking some pictures, and obviously any good pictures I get, I'll edit into the video. So that's that. So I went and shot some street photography on South Congress, and so I'm back home now, and I've got the pictures off my camera. I have to say, I had kind of a weird, what I consider to be sort of a weird evening. I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it. So, but I got home and I feel like some of the pictures are alright, so we're gonna look through them. And so here's the first one. You can see that it's kind of I'm my own worst critic, and so I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about this picture. I don't think it's that great. I think the subject is interesting, and I think the background is interesting, and I think the colors are fine. But I always feel guilty when I take pictures of people when they're using their phones, because it's just too easy. Everybody is on their phone. Everybody. No one is paying attention. And so you could literally just walk up to these people who are on their phones and just take their pictures. And I feel like it's cheating. And I also just get sick of coming home and having 10 or 15 different pictures of people on their phones. And so my goal is to get people not on their phones. But here we have somebody on their phone. I thought the picture was, you know, okay enough to sort of, you know, process and to keep. I'm not going to be putting it for anywhere to see, except for, I guess, here on this channel. But this is more of a vlog and less of a portfolio kind of a thing. So this won't go on Instagram or anything like that. But you know, I like the colors. I like that she's holding a jump rope. That's kind of cool. And she's got her bags around her, and she's wearing boots. I mean, she's interesting. She's got a leopard print dress, and then it says right next to her, it's got this big sign that says "Monkeys always welcome." And so little things like that can make a photo interesting, especially since now that I'm looking at it, there's actually like a sticker of a monkey right above her head, and I guess there's a monkey right there on the door too a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that car noise, but my neighbors are leaving. Their garage is right underneath me. Alright, let's look at the next picture here. This next picture, I don't think this is a great picture either, honestly. I think the skull is a great subject, but I'm not sure about my framing here. And maybe it would have been better if I had stopped down my lens a little bit, because you have the one in focus thing there, the skull. And then there's an interesting person who's really more of the subject, but she's completely out of focus back there. And so, yeah, it's another kind of a fail of a picture. But I want to share with you guys, you know, the good stuff and the bad stuff. So more bad stuff this time than good stuff. But I think that I just need to get in the habit of doing the vlog, you know, whether or not I feel good or not. It's, you know, I think that's part of street photography, is whether you're feeling it or not, or whether you're getting a good vibe or not. Like, you just got to force yourself to just consistently go out and take pictures. All right, here's the next one. I don't know, this isn't a good photograph either necessarily. I mean, it's got some good aspects, There's a couple things that I hate about it. One, the lighting in the interior of this place. So I'm standing outside, I'm shooting in to a little shop, and the interior of this place is lit with some kind of an LED bulb that has a refresh rate that's messing with my electronic shutter. I really like the electronic shutter, but you have to be really careful with artificial lighting because it'll do this to you. And so you can see the stripies up and down right there. The reason I kept it in there is because, now once again, she's on her phone, so it's not really fair. So there's a lot of things to not like about this photograph, but the one thing I kind of like is that in the foreground it says treat. And so it sort of like suggests that, you know, there's a treat in there, or you're in for a treat or something like that. And I'm trying to do more of that, sort of like adding sort of like words that I find on buildings and things into my photographs. So anyway, all right, let's look at the next one here. This one came out pretty well. So this is a guitarist. He is always down on South Congress, and I've actually stopped taking his picture because he always wears the exact same thing. He plays the exact same guitar. He wears the same hat. He sits in the exact same place every day. And so I've sort of exhausted what I feel like are good shots of this guy. Like first time I saw him, I took 5 or 6 shots of him and got some ones I like. The second time I saw him, I took a couple shots. And after that, I was like, I don't need any more pictures of this guy. Not only that, but everybody has a picture of this guy. Any photographer that walks up and down South Congress is going to take a picture of this guy. So it's not really anything to write home about. And so as I was walking by him, I was thinking, man, you know what? I needed to get a picture of this guy, but I need to do it in a new way. And so there's this big store window right next to where he plays. And so I actually shot him in the store window. And so you can see I've got all this crazy stuff, like the legs of stools and like tables and like a countertop and just all this kind of stuff that's sort of superimposed on him. And he's also like reflected in multiple instances. Like there's 2 instances of his hand here and the head of his guitar and his hat, and it almost looks like cubist, like Picasso's cubist period, like a chopped up image. And so I'm really happy with how that came out. I think that is so much more interesting than if I had once again just pointed the camera right at him. His name's Anthony. So there you go. I like that one. I included this for a few reasons. I think the look on her face, she has like this look of disgust that I am enjoying, and I think her hair is amazing. The out of focus areas, whenever you shoot shell out of the field and there are trees in the background, the out of focus areas are always super fun. The colors are pretty nice. It's not a great picture. You know, ideally we'd want to see more of her face. Yeah, I mean, if she had a 3/4 profile and had that look on her face, and maybe we were cropped in a little closer, this would be a better picture. But as it is, it's okay. Oh, so I have a story here about these two, particularly the one on the left. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, but I take pictures of everybody, and I've had people get upset with me, but you know, no one gets too upset. And I've only rarely have had somebody like come up to me and just berate me or tell me to delete the photograph. So she actually followed me. I took her picture and she gave me this look, and I was like, you know, my usual response to that sort of thing is to kind of smile or, you know, laugh a little bit, or, you know, kind of laugh it off kind of a thing, and just sort of keep walking, because I don't want to get in a confrontation with anybody. But she followed me down the street and was like, did you take our picture? And I was like, yeah, you know, I took your picture. And she was like, I did not give you my permission to take my picture. You need to delete it right now. And she was quite forceful about it. And I was like, I have this policy, you know, I never delete photographs, and let me tell you the reason why. I know you're going to get angry. I was like, there's this thing, it's called reasonable expectation of privacy. If you're in public, you cannot, you know, expect people to not take your picture. legally speaking. Now, people who take your picture are not legally allowed to profit from it. So, for instance, like if suddenly my YouTube vlog or something got super popular, and I got hundreds of millions of views or something like that, yeah, unlikely, and I started like rolling in the money, and it was all as a result of a picture I took of her. She could come probably back and sue me for that. But as that's basically unlikely, impossible, so as unlikely to be completely absurd that would ever happen, it falls under reasonable expectation of privacy. And so you can take pictures of people in public spaces as long as you don't sell or profit off of the pictures that you take. And so I, as calmly as I could, explained this to her. And then she was like, well, what are you going to do with the picture? What is your plan for it? And I was like, look, this is just my hobby. I print out all the pictures I take of people on South Congress, and I put them in my pocket. And so I pulled out my pocket full of pictures that I hand out to the people whose pictures I've taken. I said, look, these are all the pictures I've taken down here in South Congress. When I find somebody I've taken a picture of, I give them their picture, all this kind of stuff. I was like, look, here's my Instagram. You can see I have like 200 followers. It's not like I'm big time or anything. Not only that, but, it's not like your picture's going to end up there because, I didn't say this because that would be an asshole thing to say. I was like, only the best pictures that I take are going to end up there. And this picture, I wouldn't have even included it except for the story of how angry she was. I wouldn't say she was angry. I mean, she was angry, I guess I would say she was angry. She was not that happy with me. But I also kind of have this feeling like photographers are fair game, right? Like, I always assumed that photographers would understand, because here you are on South Congress, like, you're just an average Joe. Somebody points a camera at you. I could see you taking that the wrong way. But with a photographer, you would think that another photographer would be like, oh yeah, there goes another photographer, but no, she was not cool with it. Anyway, she'll probably find me on Instagram and leave me a nasty comment or something. But I'm sure that she's a perfectly nice person in all other circumstances. I don't know. I must have just, maybe one of her pet peeves is people taking pictures of her. It's a weird pet peeve for a photographer, but whatever. Anyway, all right. So this picture, it's not a great picture. I just have a soft spot for these big cranes. They're so epic looking. Had a 50mm lens, it probably would look better with a wide-angle lens, So, hindsight being what it is, I included it because it's kind of dramatic. It's got a dramatic look to it, and those things are just really cool looking. So, it's a mediocre picture of a really cool subject is basically what it is. So, anyway. Alright, dogs. Anytime I get a chance to take a picture of a dog, man, I love to take pictures of dogs, and this one was super cute. I only took a single picture of this dog as I was walking by. I don't even think anybody saw me. I just held my camera low, snapped the picture, and it's not perfectly, it's got a little bit of motion blur. It was getting dark, so I was probably at like 1/160th of a second at this point. But colors came out great. It's a cute dog, and I like it. Here's a shot that I got. I walked by these guys, and they were standing there having a conversation, and I thought, both these guys are really cool looking, and the way that they're standing, they're really far away from the background, and I thought, that's going to be a really nice sort of shallowed up the field, but a full body shot. And so I actually turned around and went into the restaurant door. So I'm standing inside the restaurant. I'm shooting through the glass from inside the restaurant. They didn't see me, I don't think. And I got this nice shot of them at Guero's. And I think it's pretty right on. It's nothing, you're not going to write home about it necessarily. It's nothing that amazing. But, they both have good facial expressions, cool looking guys. I like it. And I think this is the final picture, and I just snapped this as I was walking by. I didn't even stop. I just saw these kids playing this arcade, and there was tons of light inside this. I think it was a barber shop, and of course it's through glass because I'm outside, and anytime you shoot through glass you just get all these crazy awesome reflections. I think this looks so cinematic. It's dark out, so my ISO is cranked. All the lights make it look really cool. It just looks like who's the guy that does all the lens flare? You know, it looks like J.J. Abrams or whatever shooting Star Trek. It's just, you know, it's just like crazy lens artifacting all over the place. And I think it's got, you know, I wish she wasn't on her phone, of course, once again. But the kids' expressions are pretty good, you know, and there's a lot of energy here from all of the lights and stuff like that, and they're playing arcades, and arcades are just always cool. So that's it. That was my photo walk excursion. I'm glad I got a few okay pictures. It wasn't the best photo walk I've ever been on. It kind of put me in a bad mood when that lady, you know, basically berated me for taking her picture. You know, always kind of puts a funk on things, but I handed out a lot of pictures. I ran into a bunch of people I had already taken pictures of that I had their pictures, and so I always print those out on Amazon using the Amazon print service, and it costs like a penny or something to print out, you know, a little 5x7 or whatever they are. And so I handed out several of those, and everybody I gave them to seemed really happy with them. In stark contrast to "Don't Take My Picture, Woman," everybody else seemed very happy that I had snapped their photograph. So anyway, that's it. That's the end of Doug's photography vlog number 2. So there you go.